every other Tuesday, I like a little change of scenery. First Tuesday we meet here.
Right,
Second
and
Tuesday we meet upstairs. Third Tuesday we meet here, fourth Tuesday we meet back
It
upstairs.
just seems silly that I'm dragging all the stuff down and then back, but anyway, okay. That's all.
All right, 6 o'clock, ready to go?
Yeah.
All right,
We don't have a quorum.
We do have one. You have three?
but not.
3,
Yeah,
you'd
three
have to,
and
you'd
three.
have to ask.
Oh yeah, that's right, I'm confused.
And is Matt an alternate?
No, he's the vice chair.
Oh, he's the vice chair. Is there an alternate?
No, we're missing one of the 5 too. He resigned.
He did.
When did Rick resign? His name's Rick, right?
Olson?
Olson, yes. He resigned like in June or
I thought they showed up in
July. I know he resigned, I heard he resigned.
Okay, sorry.
Because his workload was getting, because there was a note on the town board that they were looking for zoning.
I think they've just been looking for zoning forever because. we
It's a
never-
thankless job and.
No, we just never have, like, we don't have it alternate. We don't have.
Right.
So ready to go? All right, so September 17th, zoning board, town of Tilton. And the agenda. Where's that? I don't know what it is. Minutes for July 16th. Everybody got a chance to read the minutes?
Oh, I give you a name.
Give me a second.
Okay. I'll give you a second.
Do you care about spelling?
And,
Yeah, that's the only thing. And the fact that Carrie is spelled. It's the only change I
What's spelled wrong?
Okay.
carried.
Okay.
All right.
So I'd make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
We'll
opposed?
fix that, Carrie.
All right.
Okay, that was easy.
Yeah, that was easy.
Easy, thanks.
And next item is case 1905.
So do you want to give them the option?
Oh, good point, thank you. I heard you speaking before we started the meeting about the number of people. Is that associated with this case?
No.
Probably not. Okay. So, one thing we'd like to let it be known and make it available. We only have 3 members.
Oh.
And in zoning, to approve the case, all 3 have to vote in favor. If anyone votes opposed, the case is denied and you don't have an option to reapply. So because we only have 3, all 3 members would have to vote in favor of. You have the option to wait until we have 4 or a total of 5, but it's up to you. Want to proceed?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Not a problem. But just like to make it available. So, Mr. Doherty, if you want to go ahead and present your case, what you're wanting to do, and
Okay, I've been an owner up in Lakewood Cottages since '83. And they're all very cottagey, campy. seasonal, we were on lake water. So I've seen tremendous improvements in the whole area. And I have a growing family, I grandchild now, and when they come up, we have one bathroom, it's 5 by 5. So it's extremely small, and so we're looking to add on a bathroom heading away from any neighbors. On the sketch you can see, a 12 by 18, it would be a bedroom with a 3/4 bath, I guess you'd call it, shower, sink, and a toilet.
So is this where it says existing? Is there a reason why?
That's all still there.
Okay, so this was
That's all there.
the original cottage.
Right,
When we bought in '83, this was an addition on. We had an addition put on back in the '90s, and this is what I'm actually trying to do. And I drew it to scale. The scale was 1 inch equals 10 feet. So
So up to
So
this year, this
just
is
the-
all existing.
that's existing,
Right.
yeah.
so there were all variants associated with these already?
Yeah, those are some of these, well, the home was built previously, probably pre-zoning, because when was this original structure built? Back in, these are really old.
No, I'm
These are-
talking about the additions.
Oh,
This was here when I bought it in '83.
yeah, these are all
And
pre.
we put this on in the '90s, and I believe it was all the up and up. And this is Lake Road up here.
Okay.
So, if there was a variance issued in the 90s for this.
It was built before the 90s.
I know, but.
No, the
The
addition,
additions, because they look like they're, if a variance was issued, would he still have to come here?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
well,
Oh,
the
yeah.
addition, I was asking about
Just one
this,
more.
the variance for this addition,
Right.
which he put in, not this one. This is new.
No, that's what he's.
He's
asking.
coming
Proposed.
in,
Yeah,
he
that's-
would be
that's what he's
coming in
asking
for a
now.
second variance.
But, so your question is, if there was a variance for that addition that you did originally put on?
Because the variance would have been issued for the property.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
but,
right,
right, but-
okay, I see what
but
you're
the
saying.
ordinance says you can't expand anymore in that Lakes Cottage area without coming to the
Okay.
zoning.
No, but what he's saying is that
Well,
the
the-
variance might have already been issued for the property.
Right, but the variance would still only be for that additional structure. If you expand any more, it's another variance. You can't, like, he couldn't continue to just build.
Well, it's not a blank check, is what you're
Right.
saying.
Right.
Okay.
I
That
thought you couldn't
variance-
come back.
No, you can come back and, for another variance for a different structure. So that variance, if there was a variance issued for that first addition,
Right.
that's all that the variance is for, that
For that
addition.
addition only.
Right, different from, I guess, if a variance was for a use and someone new came in, you wouldn't need another variance for that
Okay.
use again.
So
But
the
when you're
difference between-
expanding structures,
Yeah.
because otherwise people would just
Continue
build,
on, yeah.
and encroach more and more if you want, I mean, because the variance only would have been to encroach that exact amount
Right,
as well.
so, I guess I
No,
know
no,
you were going there,
yeah,
the
no, no,
variance
I
goes
just-
with
I
the
just-
property.
just-
Right, the variance does go with the property, meaning if he sold that property,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
variance would be good. And also, there's so many other issues that could be involved, like, since this variance and property was so long ago too, you have shoreline protection to consider, you got lot coverage that can be an issue if you keep adding to a property, how much
Is
can you,
this a property line here, or is this just a halfway line type thing?
where's the property?
Those are dimensional lines.
So I did this to scale,
Okay, no, I just want
Yeah.
to make sure that we're not,
so this
So
is
this.
my property.
so it's really a side
Property.
setback that we're dealing with?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that goes almost out to Lake Road, which is the road before Lakewood. The existing bedrooms are 8 by 8, very small, and basically pretty cramped in there, as a growing family. Ironically, everything we buy has to be smaller, but costs more. Like a frost-free fridge to fit in, and the shower had to be 31 by 31, with normally they're 36 by 36.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
All right, so I was looking at some
are you
dimensions.
an alternate?
He
Just showing
like-
up?
He just likes it.
Just showing up for the heck of it?
I'm a member of the public.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I was looking at some, oh, and you have it all here, thank you.
Yeah, I put it
Great.
all, yeah.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So yeah, as far as lot coverage, this
Yeah.
expansion won't interfere with the max lot coverage.
25% of the addition.
So, issues there, so really,
Shoreline, there's 250 feet, they would need a permit, but they're about 440 feet from the shoreline.
so far enough back from that.
Sewer is not an issue, because they're not septic, so the bedroom would be an issue, adding a bedroom.
Okay.
I don't know about their wells, though, I don't know how that.
Are they on
Private
sewer?
wells?
Are they on sewer there?
Yeah,
On sewer. You have private wells, though?
there's 6 of us on one well,
I figured it was shared wells.
shared well.
Okay. Alright. So it looks like we're only really talking about the side dimension.
We got
That's what-
we did get a complaint or a,
Oh.
We have to open up the public hearing to the public anyway, because you're right here, and the letter will
Right.
come into
Right.
the record. So
Yeah.
you can announce open public, and that letter would come into open public.
Okay. So, abutters, there's no abutters here, but they were notified,
Right.
and we do have a letter from an abutter. Is that right?
Yep.
mhm.
And the pictures, she sent those pictures.
Oh, those
Oh.
pictures are from her?
Yes, goes with that letter.
Oh, okay.
And then I have also, as a result of her letter, I have a letter from the fire department. Did you see that as well? That responds to her letter. So that all
Okay.
kind of goes together.
Yep, so that's
okay?
on the back.
So that we have
Alright.
some input from them. Okay.
Alright, so,
And you
Beverly-
can read that into the record.
Beverly New?
Janelle.
Do I need to read out loud for the?
Yeah,
record?
because-
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear.
The applicant, yeah, yep. I'll just put it into the record.
I inherited Bernard Francis Chase Cottage.
Lynch's?
Thank you. I am not good at pronouncing names. I'll do my best. Welcome any help. Cottage and land on lot 25, location 3C Street, Tilton. Street 3C. I understand that Bernard and Lori would like to build an additional bedroom within 10 feet of the property line. And that's not what the dimension shows.
Yeah, within 10 feet, or 12 feet, actually.
12, but yeah. Let's see.
Well, it's 10 feet here.
Oh, you're right, okay. Yep,
10.
10 feet at that one point. So, yeah, 10 feet. I understand that the property line is 20 feet. For the following reasons, I feel that we need to keep the 20-foot property line. When my brothers bought the cottage on the lot years ago, there were not a lot of cottage there, and they were not close. As years have gone, I have seen the cottages now become large homes. The 20-foot variance property line is needed in case of any fires, as you all know. About 2 years ago, my brother Bernard Lynch's cottage caught on fire, and it affected every home around his. I am so grateful that no one was hurt. I am not sure if there is a 20-foot variance between all the homes, but I feel it's something that we need to keep. I'm attaching pictures of the damages of the homes around my brother's cottage in hope that you will see what happened to the homes around his. I am hoping that the zoning board will keep the 20-foot property line for safety reasons and insurance reasons. Thank you for listening. Please keep my posted decision that is made. Thank you. In regards, Beverly Gay. And pictures. We do 3 pictures, and they do show siding melted due to, well, looks like excessive heat.
Actually, my cottage is one of the ones that was damaged.
Right, because I saw that there was a record of an electrical fire or a fire or something with your
Well, I
cottage.
think it was a fire of undetermined
Okay.
origin. And actually, I've been there since '83, I've never met her. She inherited it from her brother Bernie, who passed away.
So she is B Street number 7, and you are B Street number 6.
Actually, she's C Street number 3.
Oh,
I don't know why
she's-
it says 7B on her own
Okay.
letter, but she's actually lot 25.
That's her.
Yep.
This is her.
So if you look on the,
That cottage is now gone,
Yeah.
that burnt down with the fire. This is where I wanna do
Right.
that.
if you look on the tax map, you can see where 25 is in relation to the, it's in the corner.
Right here.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's his 30 and then 25 points to the corner. See how the arrow goes? There you go.
Yeah, that's a weird shaped
Yep,
one.
exactly.
Okay. So that's the butter that we just read the letter of?
Yep.
Okay. And so we have a letter
I requested,
also.
yeah. I said I requested the fire department comment
Yeah.
on the fire issue, so.
So, fire department letter also, from Deputy Chief Tim Gilbert.
Okay.
A review of the variance request for 6B Street in Tilton has been completed. Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS always advocates proper spacing between structures to minimize fire spread and damage. The fire that took place at 3C Street on May 5th, 2017 resulted in the loss of 1 structure and damage 4 others due to the proximity of each dwelling. As a whole, the Lakewood Drive Association is very congested, with many dwellings not having the property setback. According to the submitted plans, the 6B Street addition will have minimal or no impact on the current setback from 3C Street. The potential for fire spread already exists, and the proposed addition will not increase that potential. That is Fire Chief's letter. All right, and that's all of the abutters, all of the public we
Oh,
have.
unless
Joe?
Joe
anything?
wants to
I have
speak.
no
You're
comment.
good? Okay. All right. So that is the public input.
Are you closing the public input?
Closing public input. Are you all saying any other comments you have,
No.
thoughts? Okay. All right, so what we'll do, closing public comment, and we'll talk amongst ourselves. You're welcome to stay, and we may have some questions for you. so,
Okay.
And then after that, we'll proceed to a vote, but that's how we're going from here. So, thoughts?
I'm thinking.
Is it possible to move this addition, I guess, up? I don't know what direction that is, north. I'm gonna do that as a clock. To move it towards the fire.
So what you're asking is Instead of here, move it
Well,
in this
it's-
direction.
Well, it looks like it doesn't take up the entire back of the newer addition, so is it
To center it or.
to center it or
Center
put
it.
it up there? Because it looks like, again, I don't know the scale here, but it would appear that it would be further than 10 feet, and it would be further away from whatever lot this is.
Well, we purposely did it that way, not to affect the neighbor. That was on the right, I don't know.
On this side.
Trying to get my bearings straight. Yeah, this neighbor here,
Yeah.
the cottage.
Because there's, you know,
It's really here, the cottage. It's not, you know, on the original map, which I have here, it shows a setback. Everything is completely changed from,
so this is your property and this is the one you're talking about. Right
exactly.
here, yeah.
Like you see, in between these two cottages is probably, I don't know, 8 feet
Mhm.
now. And it looks on the map like this is way back here, but it's not. So to minimize the effect, I figured this way here, even though I know it's 12 feet from the property line, it's actually 23 feet from the structure of the Clark's house, which is
Right, which
on
is-
the other side.
Over here.
Yeah,
So the clocks are already are within the 11 feet.
Oh, they're about.
They're within the boundary already.
Yeah, the setback.
And where on this side are they?
You were saying it, right.
so this is the Clark's here.
Mhm.
Yep. So what's the problem on this side?
The cottage is actually like right here.
Closer to the property line, so
Is that on this?
Yeah,
Right now, let me see.
I don't see
Yeah, they're
it,
both the same copies, they're just, one's zoomed in.
I don't see it being closer.
Yeah, it's not shown as close.
that's not, but that's what I'm telling you. That's not where this is now. It's more right here. And the other one is right here. They're both right beside, it's only like 8 feet in between them. And actually, the only call I got was from her wondering where we put it. And I told her we're putting on the other side, and that's made her feel better.
24, 5, 29, 20. So you're at 20 feet on this side already though from the lot line. It looks like. Am I reading that incorrectly? So this is 47?
Correct, from the lot
Right.
line.
And this is 5? So
Well, I'm
20
just showing roughly, the only 2 points I can reference on this cottage are these two. So that's what I used, that's from the original scaled map.
Right, well, I guess what I'm saying is if this is 29,
Yeah.
then this is, I guess it's only 18 on this side.
Yeah, but that's not the one, this is the problem. This cottage is really right here. It's not set back like this.
Right, so but if I go like this, it's roughly 18 going down this,
Yeah.
down this thing, whereas you can't tell how far from this lot line this house is.
Yeah, with
'Cause you're
this map,
saying
you
this is-
can't. I'm saying it's right down here. And she's the one, I'm sorry, it's more like here. She's the one that was concerned what side I was putting it on. And I said it was gonna be on this side going away. So she was fine with that.
So, in order to stay within 20 foot of each property line, left and right, the addition could only be, I think it's like 8 foot wide or 9 foot wide.
Well, it's wider down, let's see, what's this, 25 and 24, 49, right?
Right, the whole width is 49.
At this
Yeah.
point. So
Right,
9
you need
feet.
40, so, you need
So-
40, so 9.
So 9 foot wide is if he wanted to make an addition, stay within the setbacks
Mhm,
and not need a variance at all, it could only be 9 feet wide.
mhm. Yep,
But if he moves it, centers it, he can make it 20 feet on one side increase it to 15 to 17 feet on the other side.
Right.
But in the center of that room is where we eat, and to have the bathroom, like right beside the dining room table,
Right.
you know?
See, I feel, again, the only information I have that I have to go off of is that this building seems further away. On this side, it seems like there's more open space on that side.
But in reality, it's not.
But you're not giving me reality.
Yep.
You're only giving me, this is the information I have to go off of, and I
Yeah.
have to make a decision off of. The material here, because I can't tell anything from this
Yeah.
picture here, and I can't, so the information I have here would indicate that, you know, you're further away on this side of the house from construction. I can't see where the structures are.
Yeah, see, the cottage that I see it's never been like this since I've been there in '83. These two cottages are only 8 feet apart now, and they're more down here. Like when you project the end of my cottage, I'm almost right into their kitchen with the 47 feet. Excuse me, yeah, she'll show you here. So if you go this 47 feet, I'm touching their cottage now. And this one here is right here. Not set back here, so I don't know, these are back from the existing map they done. Actually, nothing looks the same up there anymore.
I drove back up in there today, and they are really close.
Like I have one of the larger lots out of the 30 cottages, and I thought going away from, instead of going up, which I think I've blocked their view.
Is there a zoning as far as height?
Yeah, there is.
Yes. Oh, from to go up, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
40 foot, I think it is, height. Somewhere around there, I forget.
yeah, I don't have it on top of my head either, but I could. But I don't know if this cottage could even handle a second floor, I don't know how old it is. But anyway.
But besides that letter you got from Beverly, who I never met, when the cottage burnt down, the only person I heard from was this person that lives here, and they were concerned that it was going on this side of the house, and I showed them I was trying to put it on that side.
Some people don't like to confront you directly.
So we now have a dry hydrant that we didn't have when we had the fire.
Page 25 speaks to that district and the requirements in that district regarding building and expanding. I think it's 25, page 25.
Page 25.
25, I think. Yeah. Development standards and lot size.
That's it now.
It starts here. Oops.
This is resort commercial.
Yeah.
I was making one up in my head. So.
maximum height because it wasn't an issue, because it wasn't.
Is this a seasonal property?
I use it, but it's year round, so I have heat and hot water. Just as part of the area, there's an existing shed that would have to get moved. That's already there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't draw it right to show it, but it would be in part of that new addition. So I was gonna put it, either move it or get another shed up in the back away from everybody.
Okay, so. Page. Tilton Board of Appeals may approve such expansions based upon finding of the change not being substantially more detrimental to surrounding neighborhood based on the proposal meeting screening requirements and other considerations established in this section. However, ZBA shall consider the potential cumulative effects of any such permits. And then no accessory uses or structures may be placed within the setback. And that requires, let's see, whether it's feasible to relocate accessory structures and uses from the setback
You know,
when considering permitting modifications to non-conforming.
remember we said,
I'm sorry?
I said, we talked about that, about the shed as an accessory
Yeah.
structure not being in the setback, and you said you moved it.
Okay.
Questions?
So, my concern is the fact that we did get a notice from a butter regarding a fire on their property that affected other people. That the cumulative effect of all these. While the fire chief said it was no worse, he did say it was a hazard as it was,
Mm-hmm.
so,
But the expansion requested would not make it any worse. Wouldn't make it any better, wouldn't make it any worse.
right.
Neutral.
Well, it would be, yeah, it wouldn't make it any worse, but the problem exists.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still there, doesn't make it any worse. And there's that cumulative impact, you know? These places are already on top of each other. Those are my initial thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have any initial thoughts?
My thinking is if he wants to expand his property,
Yep.
he would, because of the existing lot layout, it could only be 9 feet wide if he wanted to add on. Whether he moved it, I mean, he can only go so far over this direction anyway, because then he can only go 5 feet this direction, in the direction you were suggesting. Because then he'd be in the setback on this side. And then you'd have to constrain it or decrease the total width down to 9 feet to not be in the, actually less. No, it wouldn't be less, it would be 9 feet. And to me, that's extreme.
I'm not suggesting that he has to narrow it,
Yeah,
I'm just suggesting that we increase the space by physically, instead of being over here, either here or over here. You can keep it 12 by 18.
that you minimize the impact.
But I guess
of
because
the
I don't have a
crowding.
visual, on, I'm gonna call this lot 25. I don't have, he's saying that this is a misrepresentation. I don't have
Right.
another view to go through. So my other option is to go for a continuance until we can get this straightened out, because I don't know. I did not get up to this property,
And I think,
unfortunately.
yeah, and I thought that we weren't going to do that anymore. That we made, and I kind of like that we were just gonna hammer these things out until
Make a decision instead of continuing.
Right.
Well,
Right.
All I can say in my defense is the only concern was from that person where you want me to move it towards their cottage.
Right, so you're saying that, but she didn't tell us that? And the only thing we have is the letter from the woman that says, please don't do it.
I know, but
Yeah,
she didn't tell you because we assured her that we were doing it. All she got was a letter saying we're putting an addition on. She didn't know what side of the house that was going on. So once we assured her that was going on the Clark side, then she was fine with it. Now,
so what I'm hearing is you are unwilling to redesign this.
no, I'm not unwilling, I'm just saying this is what works the best for us as far as laying out the property and accessing the bedroom and the bathroom away from where we sit and eat in that room. The bedroom would be 12 by 12, and the bathroom would be like 6 by, in a little alcove to get in there. And I've never met the one Beverly that the cottage burnt down. But ironically, if she's so set on that 20 feet for herself, she won't be able to build, because she's got one of the smallest lots there. She don't have 20 feet from any property line.
Yeah, she's got a really strange lot.
In the event of a fire, is this lot able to rebuild in the exact same footprint?
Everybody's curious about that.
I'd have to look at your ordinances. I don't know your ordinances that well off the top of my head yet,
So
so
in
I would have to
previ-
do, I'd have to, and then I'd look at the RSA on that. Because this is so unique with the non-conforming.
The whole area
If-
of there.
right,
is-
Right, so
I don't
in
wanna
my
speak
I think it's our
previous,
third case in a row that
No.
is
Right.
involving
This-
this area of town.
And I don't have
Um,
any background in these type of areas, we didn't have this.
so in my previous life, as long as it was the same footprint, it was okay.
Right, and I think there might be some exceptions to,
That's it in my
No.
previous
But it's,
life,
like-
for a seasonal.
Well,
or-
this is,
Right,
standard is 1 year within the footprint even if it's non-conforming.
yeah, well, the years passed. Because it was 2007.
No. You have 1 year from the fire.
Yeah, no, it's been 2 years.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
talking about the other, I'm sorry, you're talking
Yeah,
about the
I'm
neighbor.
just,
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, it's 1 year on something that's been burnt out. It might even be, there might even be other restrictions as far as I'm concerned because of the uniqueness of these properties. However, you also have issues of if it's a lot of record and if it's a buildable lot, can you deny someone use of the property to build if it's a lot of record? So it gets into some other legalities besides that, but,
Well, this is,
right.
I think that there's a possibility to build this on another location of the house.
So so the criteria that we walk through, the,
Criteria for a variance.
let's remind ourselves, since
Yeah.
it's been a couple of months.
The variance will not be contrary to the public interests. The spirit of the ordinance is observed. Substantial justice is done. The values of surrounding properties are not diminished.
How do you know?
No, that's the question. That's not my statement, that's the
Oh, okay,
question.
sorry.
Yeah,
The question is, are the values of the surrounding property? And then number 5, literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship. Those are the 5 variance criteria that we need to address. I'm going to talk through those.
Right, and he has responses on all those, right, that you, right?
Oh,
The applicant.
in the application, yes.
Right. So
Yeah,
you can look
provide
at his
those,
response and then weigh whether you concur. You have it, I think I might have made the copy, here.
Ah,
This original, I apologize, I think that's where I made that copy of the other.
oh, yeah.
If you can read it, I can read it for you. It's easier.
So the variance will not be contrary to the public interest is the first one. And it sounds like that's kind of what we're talking about, the public interest regarding the fire and proximity and,
the cumulative effects,
right?
right? So that's kind of where we are, is this resort commercial district,
Mhm.
you know, you have so many of non-conforming existing lots, and the cumulative effect of these variances are
The addition that he's requesting would fit with the neighborhood, with the surrounding homes, cottages. But
right, and I don't think it would
interest.
diminish the value of the
Yeah.
properties in that area.
I don't think it would.
I, um,
So the spirit of the ordinance of the variance will not be contrary to public interests or interest, and the spirit of the ordinance is observed. Those kind of go together somewhat hand in hand.
well, the ordinance is the one here, right?
4.3.
Is that what I'm looking at?
Well, setback is 4.3,
The setback,
and not the
yeah.
definition.
Yeah, right.
And
So
in there,
that-
it talks about the reasons for the setback.
Right, and that's where it shows, talks about the cumulative effect.
Page 25.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Would the fact that there is still another house closer to the property of lot 18, would that be detrimental to the value of their property?
Detrimental to the value of their property,
Large.
Lark's,
It's possible.
by adding this addition
Just making
there.
it closer.
It's not making it closer, it's just putting more building in close proximity. It's not really, actually, it's not really closer. But it is adding more wall surface there.
I'm just looking at all.
From 4.3, the setbacks, the purpose of the setback ordinance is to provide a buffer that is meant to prevent encroachments over property lines, safety from possible traffic accidents, snow removal, buffers from other land use or uses such as commercial to residential, and to provide open space around structures and lots. None of that seems to be really applicable here, that I can tell. Setback areas can also provide a structure-free area for utilities, for varying lines, pipes, posts, electric phone poles, etc. The setback distance is determined in the town of Tilton by zoning district. And it goes on to define a little bit more about it, but those are the reasons, it says. And, talks about how it's measured.
Well, just keep in mind that a lot of these places were built, the association had a setback of 6 feet,
Right.
which,
But they were seasonal at that point.
no, I know, but I'm just saying that there was, which was, I think that was pre-zoning.
That's pretty simple.
Then-
Actually, the most
the
non-conforming is the main house.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. It's closest to the lot line.
Right.
5 feet.
Yeah.
And who knows what came first, the lot line or the house, so these might have been cottages that were owned by a family, and then they divided them up and put a line right through two cottages, you know, so you don't know if the cottages were built after the lot line, or the lot lines were put in after the cottages. Right?
Your kids draw up these properties.
Or somebody gave a cottage to a son or a daughter, and they just drew a line and then sold it.
But none of that matters.
Right. Right. Right, they're all non-conforming.
So what's the problem with just flipping it?
He told the neighbor that they weren't putting it on that side of the house.
And also.
When the letters went out, the only one I heard from was we are saying to put it on that side, which would still be probably
Should
non-conforming.
be,
And we assured her that it was going on the other side.
the person here
Right.
is what you're referring to, or who he's referring to.
But anything is possible.
And also the interior layout of existing,
That doesn't matter to us, right?
Well, it's a hard, it speaks to a hardship for him.
That's not a hardship of the property, though. We deal with the property, not the owner. We're supposed to deal with the property. Right? Because the variance goes with the property.
True.
Somebody can go in, some other owner can purchase this and it's nothing's a big deal, right? So it's, the variance is tied to the property, and the hardship is tied to the property, the ability to build, to use the property in a way that's conducive, right, to
Mhm.
whatever you're doing, whether it's commercial, resort, or whatever.
And just as a note, just to remember,
Yeah.
if you did tell him to flip it and he said yes, you'd have to renotice because the abutters are not aware. So if someone filed for a
Okay.
variance to put an addition on the opposite side of your house,
Right.
your neighbor's house, and you had no complaint. And
So,
then
so,
it was
wait a
put-
minute, so did this go with them, with the variance?
No, but they had the right to come in and see it, and the fact that he told him, and he told him the truth, these are always on record in the letter, the abutters always say, if you want to see the details of the plan, you're welcome to come in and look at it. Now, she didn't come in and look at it, and neither did anyone else, but, you know, it's kind of a, if you're gonna move it and still be in, if you were moving it to be conforming, then it would be fine, because there's no variance, but to have them move it to now encroach on somebody else's 20-foot line, and they didn't know, I mean, I know that I would, if I thought
Right.
someone was building on the other side of their house, and then they moved and encroached on my side, and I didn't get a notice saying it was over here now.
right,
I mean,
Yeah, because that would encroach on that 20-foot
right,
on this side.
Foot, 20.
I just think you could have someone come in and say, that's not what,
Right.
he told me this, and then you moved it, and I didn't get notified that you put it on the other side.
Legally, I'm just speaking legally. If we say we're approving it, but we want it on the other side, we have to make that a condition, correct?
That would be a condition.
Because otherwise, could he just say, screw you, I want it on this side of the house, and he builds it
Oh,
there?
yeah, you would
Because-
have to, right, you would have to make it a condition. You would be approving 20 feet on that side per the plan, but you'd be approving something that the abutters were not made aware of. And
The
that-
butters were made aware that he's put in
In addition.
an addition.
Right, but there is you have to submit a plan, you can't just say I'm putting an addition that's encroaching somewhere. I mean, there was a plan that said,
But no one came in, that's not our problem, is it?
Right.
I'm just
No, no,
making
I
you
just-
aware of that everyone has a right to be notified on any variances. And they could make an argument in court that they were not made aware of this variance, that it was a change and they were not notified. And you can ask him to move in and we can just renotice and he can come back or whatever, but I'm just saying, just telling you what the law.
No, I appreciate it. It's good to know. I didn't think about that.
So, I know we didn't do that in the past. Especially with the one on the School Street.
It would be easy if he had the 20 feet on the other side and you said move it to be in
Right.
conformity and, you know, more, you know, if he had 20 and 17.
So he could move it within 20 feet of,
Yes.
on that side.
Yeah, if you had to move him 5 feet, yeah,
Right.
because that's not,
So
he
then
doesn't need a
that's-
variance on that side,
He
that's
doesn't need a
fine.
variance on that side, and
Yep.
it improves the distance on this to 17 feet, and then he's only asking for a 3-foot
Right.
variance.
Right, I was just saying if you told him to flip it completely, so, yep, if there's no, you would need to renotice.
And if he flipped it completely, he wouldn't have a variant, he wouldn't need a variance on this side.
But he would need it on that side.
He would need it on that side, but it would be less on that side as well. Right?
Right, but
But
it's a new
does-
variance.
But does less or more matter? A variance is a variance. 17 feet versus 12 feet.
It's less of an impact.
Right.
On what?
It's more in keeping with the spirit of the ordinance,
The non-conforming part of it.
right? So if you're, I mean, if the spirit of the ordinance is to, you know, kind of
Maintain the
allow it,
setback.
but make sure that you're not always cumulatively adding to the problem associated with an area. I think that
So you would be comfortable with 17 feet, but not with 12 feet?
I guess what I heard is the only person that actually lives there and said anything and said, please don't do it, right? And because we had a fire, it affected a bunch of people, and so if you are cumulatively, and even though the fire department said, yeah, it's not gonna make it any worse, you still have that problem.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
It's not gonna make it any worse, but you still have that problem. So, if you put it here, then you have that, it's like, how do you minimize the impact of what you're doing? I mean, I think that's the key for me. Is sticking with the kind of spirit of the ordinance, which says, yeah, you want to be able to work on your property, do things, but you can't have everyone just building wherever you are and give variances to everyone, because sooner or later, it's, all the impacts are gonna add up and you're gonna have a big mess. I mean, his saving grace is that he has here.
There's a lot of land behind it.
But what I'd say is, like, this is existing shed, and this is proposed shed, so this isn't,
So
The existing shed is gonna go.
yeah, that's gonna go.
It's gonna be part of that bedroom if it was okay. I just didn't scale it right, I just put it on there and put the dimensions on it.
part of the bedroom.
So
The addition.
That existing shed is
Would go
actually
into-
right in here now. It's physically right here,
Oh,
in that area where he wants to build.
oh,
That would be moved or be.
Replace one or the other.
Something, yeah. So that it wouldn't be there.
I mean, we're not doing
Correct.
anything with this proposed thing, right?
Right, well, that's within the setbacks, but
Yeah.
it's not even there. It
That's-
doesn't even exist there.
Mhm.
So he's got plenty of land back here.
Right.
And I know the lady didn't notify you about, and you were saying, you know, you visually would like to see it, but she's the one that I assured her that, no, it's not gonna be on your side, it's gonna be on the other. So if I just say you said, okay, you could do it, but on the other side, then I know she's gonna say, wait a minute, you lied to me. You told me it was going over here.
So-
I know,
So it's not, that's.
I know, but then would she have a right to, you know what I mean?
She would have a right to appeal, yes.
Yeah, because I told her that that's not where it's
Not
going.
because you had, I told her, because
Yeah.
we said you couldn't do it there. Not because you,
Oh, okay.
it's not, it's got nothing to do with.
Well, in an enabling sense, I didn't want her to think I was lying to her.
Right.
Yeah.
The last sentence of the setback, however, the ZBA shall consider the potential cumulative effects of any such
Right,
permit.
that's
So
what I was
this is-
stuck on.
This is gonna go in perpetual.
In perpetuity.
To perpetuity.
Yeah,
Right.
whatever, that.
Yes,
We've already had this issue. I'm trying to make this as conforming as possible. Because if you deny it, you make it even more of a hardship on them, where at least we're trying to get it as close to being conforming. Obviously, a 9-foot wide addition doesn't make sense. But if he keeps it, was it 12 feet?
yeah,
And it's 17, 15 feet, it's 5 more feet. It's we're trying to get it more in the spirit of the zoning.
right. I mean, that's kind of where I was, is that it's,
So I guess the question to we ask the question to the applicant, are you willing to move that 5 feet? Where if, I guess it's a compromise, I guess it's, I'm looking for a compromise,
I understand.
I'm one,
And obviously, I'm looking to have it make so it looks,
I get it, I get it, cause it's, corners and, nooks and crannies, I get all that,
it's the nature of those cottages, though.
well, a lot of them are not cottages anymore.
no.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of.
I would like to have it as a home.
Is the intent that this become your year-round home?
I could potentially be, yeah. I mean, everything's there for us. We have the heat. I used to work for National Grid, so I was instrumental in getting the heat down there. I don't like to say that in heating season, I work for the mill. Everybody got a free service and a furnace. Things have changed since then.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Want to walk through the variances, the criteria?
Yeah, go ahead.
I
I mean,
mean,
any other
I-
thoughts or questions? I mean,
Well, the other
kind of
thought
move it
is-
along, but
The other
Right.
thought is to continue it so that I can, to allow me, I don't know if you guys both saw, but I did not get a chance to see it, so.
I drove there, I did look at it, but I did not look at that side. Yeah, I drove up in, but it's tight, and I wasn't able to get all the way up in there, so I didn't look over.
Well, I've
here.
driven, I mean, I've driven up there for other things, but it's
Yeah.
just, I didn't study all of them.
So this is the property?
So this is his home,
This one right
the
here.
applicant's home, and this is the one that I'm talking about, he's spoken to, and that's the direction Eric is speaking of, to move in that direction. So.
And
makes sense.
Clark, right, and
Yeah,
Clark
Clark's
is
over
over
here.
here,
Yep.
I'm behind underneath the tree.
Yep. That would be C5, Street C, or C Street.
It does look to be much more room over there than over here.
So. So the variance that he's requesting, the question is, will not be contrary to the public interests, is the first criteria we need to evaluate. Must unduly, see, more importantly, the Supreme Court then held that to be contrary to the public interest or injurious to public rights, the variance must unduly and in a marked degree conflict with the basic zoning objectives of the ordinance. So does that, the variance he's requesting, conflict with the basic, in a marked and unduly degree? Conflict with the basic objectives, basic zoning objectives. It's a variance, so it is not contrary, but it's again, in kind of infringing on the setback, but is it unduly and is it a marked degree?
So,
This light is stroking, right?
it is.
It is. It's not just you.
It's
Okay, I'm like,
annoying.
I'm
Yeah,
like
it's
stroking
not just
out.
you.
I'm not stroking out here.
No.
No,
No.
it's not, it's not. So if the ordinance is 20 feet
Mhm.
and with a stipulation of reducing cumulative effects, that's something that we have to watch for.
We do, yes.
Then I would say that this adds to the cumulative effect in its current configuration.
Meaning it, going back to the fire chief's letter about, it doesn't,
Doesn't make it any, it doesn't make it any worse,
okay,
but it's a fire hazard. It is a problem. It doesn't make it any worse, but the cumulative effect is you are now keeping that restriction, or you're extending that zoning nonconformance on this side of the property. So its current configuration doesn't seek to minimize that problem. And so the cumulative effect is from here to here, right? You're just
Adding more
you're
wall
adding,
surface.
yeah, you're adding, yeah,
So-
to an already problem area.
mhm. So
That's-
are you thinking that to decrease that cumulative, what you're thinking is moving it further away as possible? Is that what, in your mind, would decrease the cumulative?
So based on this, what I have is that he has 5 feet on this side to keep himself within the zoning ordinance.
Right, on that side, yeah.
Right, and so he's legit on this side and
Mhm.
it minimizes the impact on this side. It improves the situation while still allowing the property to be used.
So you're saying it, by doing that, it would reduce the accumulative effect? It would not add to the accumulative effect? It would be a benefit?
I'm not saying it would be a benefit, but I'm saying it doesn't exacerbate. It minimizes the impact of what he's trying to accomplish. Does that make sense?
I understand where you're going, yeah.
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, I don't want to minimize the impact.
So the spirit of the ordinance is observed. Again, the variance that he's requesting, I think again, these two, 1 and 2, kind of go hand in hand, and we probably already
Yeah,
talked about it,
yeah.
so I think it's,
I think,
That-
I think by moving it, you're getting more into the spirit of the ordinance.
you know, because the spirit of the ordinance is to maintain distance for, variety of reasons. The values of the surrounding property are not diminished.
I don't think that
Yeah, I
that's
don't
an
think we have
issue.
any concerns there, Eric? No? Oh, missed one. Substantial justice is done. It is not possible to set up all rules that can measure or determine justice. Each case must be individually determined by board members perhaps. The only guiding rule is that any loss to the individual, the applicant, that is not